maybe everybody feels that way. Maybe everyone's pulling into the driveway at night going, did I do or say something?
No, they're not. No, they're not. We are. Plumbers aren't. And I get it. I'd rather be...
Maybe they are.
No, they're not. I'd rather be me than a plumber. But let's not kid ourselves. Plumbers don't worry about that. They don't pull in the driveway and go, did anything bad happen? They pull in the driveway and go, oh, tomorrow the rent is due. And that's worse. But this is my... Like, we all just got to live with our own... And that's, you know, as long as you're just not home alone.
Bill Maher recently sat down with Drew Barrymore, and let's just say it was less of an interview and more of a public roasting. The comedian torched the actress for cheerleading the woke brigade that paved the way for Kamala's crushing 2024 defeat. Remember, Barrymore practically crowned herself queen of the trans crusade, shoving Dylan Mulvaney down her audience's throats. Turns out Maher had been saving his fire, waiting for Drew to waltz onto his set. And when she finally did, he let the hammer drop. So, buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in.
That is a lot of just what viscerally is going on with me when I have issues with the left. Just get the fuck off of me. First of all, I don't believe you. You're not better. You're a lot of posers. Not all of you, but just get the...
Emma absolutely tees into the woke mob for their obsession with controlling the cultural narrative and dictating to the rest of us who we're supposed to admire as our celebrities. According to him, it's no longer about talent, charisma, or actual contribution. It's about checking the right ideological boxes. And we all remember the perfect example, Dylan Mulvaney. Practically overnight, Mulvaney was everywhere, plastered across media outlets, showered with glowing profiles, and handed multi-million-dollar brand deals. Not because of groundbreaking achievements, but because she pretended to be a woman, and the woke establishment decided that was enough to crown her as a cultural icon. Emma wasn't subtle in pointing out how this forced hero worship reveals the absurdity of the times we live in, where merit and authenticity take a backseat to social engineering. And the more they try to shove it down our throats, the more people are waking up and pushing back.
If you're ballsy enough to be brave enough to say your truths or speak to what you believe is the truth, what scares you and what do you care about?
Oh, what scares me is a little bit me, that, you know, at any moment you can like say something that really in private conversation wouldn't upset anybody.
Yes.
But the snitches and bitches will be able to use it to like attack.
Interestingly, Emma isn't afraid of Republicans. He isn't even afraid of Donald Trump, the man the left loves to brand as a fascist or even Hitler reincarnated. No, what really terrifies him is his own side. The same progressive mob he's been part of for decades. Emma knows that the minute he speaks what he actually believes to be the truth, they'll circle the wagons and come for him. And they have more than once. When he was trashing Trump and mocking Republicans, the left treated him like their fearless hero. They chewed every insult, every punchline. But the second he started calling out their hypocrisy and exposing the ridiculous extremes of their ideology, the applause stopped. Suddenly, he wasn't a truth teller anymore. He was a condescending traitor who had to be put in his place. That's the irony. MR fears cancellation more from his allies than from his enemies.
When I go out, it's probably, I'm just going out to dinner.
Right.
It's unlikely anything is going to happen that would end my career, but it is possible.
Okay, so
it is possible.
That's a part of like the in trouble thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly.
And Maher's fear is absolutely real. He's not the only one walking on eggshells. Plenty of Democrats are terrified of speaking the truth. They become weak, spineless, and cowardly, forever second-guessing themselves, terrified that one wrong word could ignite the cancel mob and end their careers overnight. Instead of leading with conviction, they tiptoe around reality, parroting whatever the latest woke script demands. And this cowardice isn't going unnoticed. Voters are tired of politicians who act more like fragile celebrities than leaders. People want authenticity, not fear-driven obedience to Twitter mobs. That's exactly why Democrats are bleeding supporters and losing ground to Republicans who, love them or hate them, aren't afraid to say what they actually believe. Emma is right. The left's biggest problem isn't Trump, isn't conservatives. It's their own refusal to speak plainly. Weakness never inspires confidence, and voters are punishing them for it.
Into the driveway, I was saying to my girl, like, did anything bad happen tonight? And she's like, what the f***? Nothing bad happened. Are you sure? Yes. You went out to dinner. Yes. Nothing bad happened.
I have walked around with that feeling my whole life.
But I'm always, and now it's like a running joke because, did anything bad happen? Like that sort of paranoia. No. Is it as bad as things other people go through? No. But living with that paranoia is not nothing. I don't feel guilty about saying that that's a complaint I have about.
All Bill Maher has to do to shake that fear is step over to the fearless side. He's hardly the first to say something that offended the left, and he won't be the last. And really, this looming terror of being cancelled and losing his career, it's overblown. Plenty of people have been cancelled by Hollywood, the left, and mainstream media. Yet, they are thriving. Take Gina Carano, booted from The Mandalorian for mocking pronoun culture and questioning lockdowns. Yet, she landed major projects with the Daily Wire. Joe Rogan, the cancel mob, came for him over misinformation and old podcast clips, but is still the biggest podcaster in the world, pulling millions of listeners. Dave Chappelle faced backlash for daring to joke about the trans movement. Yet, he sells out arenas worldwide. Even J.K. Rowling, attacked relentlessly online, remains one of the most successful authors alive. Cancellation isn't death, it's often rebirth.
Kind of that you can't pull into the driveway without a peaceable night at dinner without thinking, did anything bad happen? Is somebody going to
Did I say something? Did I do something?
Right. Yep. Especially if you're with a lot of prominent people, and I'm like a funny guy, and this guy who gets loaded and
says
stuff. It's like, I thought it was funny.
I have so many friends who are like, if they looked at my text, I'd be ruined. Because you just riff and talk and you're not possibly liable at that moment.
I wouldn't do it in it.
The Constitution guarantees us the fundamental right to speak our minds, to air our views and opinions freely on any issue without fear of punishment or persecution. It's not just another clause on paper. It's the bedrock of what makes America a great nation. For generations, this freedom was understood, respected, and fiercely protected. But in recent years, that basic principle has been twisted and undermined. Ever since the Democrats took power a few years ago, we've seen a wave of policies, guidelines, and social instruments deliberately designed to muzzle dissent. They dress it up as protecting democracy or preventing harm. But the reality is clear. They are cowtailing free speech. Suddenly expressing a view outside the approved narrative is treated as dangerous, even criminal. And when the government starts deciding which opinions are acceptable, freedom ceases to exist. That's not progress. It's regression. And Americans know it.
Maybe everybody feels that way. Maybe everyone's pulling into the driveway at night going, did I do or say something?
No, they're not. No, they're not. We are. Plumbers aren't. And I get it. I'd rather be...
Maybe they are.
No, they're not. I'd rather be me than a plumber. But let's not kid ourselves. Plumbers don't worry about that. They don't pull in the driveway and go, did anything bad happen? They pull in the driveway and go, oh, tomorrow the rent is due. And that's worse. But this is we all just got to live with our own. And that's, as long as you're just not home alone.
Drew Barrymore still thinks everyone lives inside her Hollywood bubble as if her problems are the problems of everyday Americans. And that right there explains why celebrities keep pushing their anti-common sense agenda. It's easy for them. They've already got everything figured out. They've got more money than they could ever spend. Sprawling multi-million-dollar mansions, the freedom to jet off to Paris for breakfast, hop over to New York for lunch, and end the night in London for dinner if they feel like it. They can sleep anywhere in the world without worrying about the cost. But for us, the middle class, the reality is completely different. We're working paycheck to paycheck, choosing between gas and groceries, and trying to keep a roof over our heads. That's why we couldn't care less about woke politics. What we care about is having a leader who can actually make our lives better.
I think everybody pulls into the driveway and is worried for their well-being. They're worried about something happening.
Yeah, it's just different. It's just what they're worried about.
But the feeling is the same, and that's what I learned with those girls in the institution. I was like, we're all in the same boat. We all feel the same way. It is a feeling of fear of loss.
No, Barrymore, we're not in the same boat. Let's get that straight. You sailing on a luxury cruise ship, sipping champagne under the stars, while the rest of us are clinging to makeshift rafts, patching holes just to stay afloat. And why? Because Biden and Kamala, the very people you cheerlead for, have left us with a sinking economy and rising costs that crush working families every single day. Our realities couldn't be further apart. You worry about whether your fans will still adore you after your next performative political stunt, while we worry about whether we can pay rent, put food on the table, or keep the lights on. You're terrified of losing Instagram followers. We're terrified of losing our homes. That's the real divide in America right now. Hollywood's elites crying about image problems while the middle class fights to survive an economy spiraling out of control.
Drew Barrymore talking about how it's still too dangerous to speak out with your real opinions. So what are her real opinions? Because just like Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman, she's been fueling the fire of wokeism for years. Who could forget how she humiliated herself next to fake, quote unquote, woman, meaning a man, Dylan Mulvaney, who came on her show and was treated like